Me, it's live. Ooh, it's live. All right then. How are we? Are we all good? On 10? Are we 8? 8 out of 10? I hope so. Okay. I just I just asked that question and my screen went blank. Which is kind of fitting because this is what we're talking about today. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I am a little early, so give me 1 second while I activate the other screen. You know how that works, right? The other screen is on Spectator, and what I have me. How interesting is that? All right. So, a couple of very interesting things happened this weekend. And then they kind of flipped over to yesterday. And I thought, there's times when really I don't have to do anything. I can just kind of sit here and my life writes itself. So I guess the first thing I wanted to say today was thank you. I wanted to start by being grateful. Good morning, Charles. Good morning. Ready for your lesson? Yes, well, we all seem to be getting lessons. So I wanted to start by thanking you because I keep forgetting to do this until the very end, and it's just wrong. It's wrong to do that. Good morning, Melissa. Um, I want to say thank you for setting aside the time, organizing your morning, organizing all the other things that you need to do in a way that prioritizes this time together. And whether or not you're watching at the time that I'm recording, or whether even on the same platform that I'm recording it, you are setting aside the time. You are saying to yourself, oh yeah, I wonder what she did today. And those moments where you choose me are really incredible because we have so many things we can choose from. And we're so easily distracted that the idea that you say, okay, this will either be a note of sanity in a sea of uncertainty, or this will be the refreshing note of uncertainty in a sea of sanity. Either way, it's a break from whatever else you were doing. And I'm glad you choose me. I'm thrilled. This is episode 53. So we've passed Area 51. We're now deep in the depths of, we have no idea what's going to happen. However, a couple of things that took place on the weekend made me realize that I have something to share that I think is pretty interesting and pretty special and pretty kind of fluff our hair and feel good about. Before I do that, the other thing I want to say is somebody somewhere after my last episode saying, please tell your friends, and please let's grow this, and please let's make more people aware on YouTube and whatnot, I got a new subscriber. Just like that, like the same day. So whoever you were, whoever you told, it's working. So I'd love it if you would continue to mention to people, we got to go to YouTube, and we got to get on Abby's channel because this is turning into something pretty crazy. So so if you will do that, I'll love it. And comment and tell me what you're thinking and let me know how it's all going. So I made this post that I love about cars. You know how the car will never make that noise for anybody else. It's our special noise. I only make that noise for you. So there's a story, and when I posted it, I remembered the story immediately, and I want to tell it right off the top because there's other things I want to talk about as well in terms of ownership, in terms of winning the contest. Not somebody else's contest. Not here's the list of rules and did you register. No, our contest, the one we set ourselves. We can set ourselves up for stuff, but if we don't do all the things we need to do, we don't win, and then we feel terrible because it was our contest, right? So a lot of the time I feel we all hit a wall, however briefly, however suddenly, running, boof, thud. And the invisibility of the wall, the surprise element of the wall is that we didn't see it coming, we didn't think it was going to happen, we didn't expect to be stopped in our tracks. However that evolves and turns out, what it does is it steals our joy. And it steals our childlike wonder and excitement and curiosity that, oh, is there going to be a pony? We lose that. We lose that when we think we're onto something and then apparently not. And so one day, my car, I love this car. I love this car irrationally. It was a girly car, and I just loved it. But it started making this alarming noise. And I had called my mechanic, and I enjoyed the hell out of this mechanic because he was a good old boy, and he used to get his hunting license whenever you get a hunting license for whatever you get. I think moose, and they were hard to get because it was like a lottery. You pay, but you don't know if you're gonna win, or I have no idea. And he would every fall say to me, "We probably need to bring your car in for a tune-up." And I'd say, "Why? Because you have to pay for the moose license?" And he would say, "Yeah." And so at least he was honest with me. And I'd say, "Why don't we wait until after you caught the moose? And what do? Sell them?" No. We give them away. Okay. So this car was making noises. And quite often when I would book an appointment for something, I would bring the car in and I would say, it's doing this, it's pulling to the left, it's this, it's that. And he would take it out and he'd say, I couldn't find it, it didn't happen. And I would say, well, of course it didn't happen. You were the one in the car. It's messing with me. So in this situation, I was concerned because it really was quite an alarming sound. And when I tried to explain it to him on the phone, I said, imagine if you have the cutlery drawer in your kitchen and you pull it out to clean and it comes off the track. The cutlery drawer, like all these drawers are on a track, and it comes out of the track and it slips out of your hand because it's heavy and it lands on the floor, and so it makes that thud, but it also makes then this kind of collective clanging metal sound of many small metal things all hitting each other at the same time. And he said, "No." And I said, "Okay, so not cutlery. What if the drawer from your toolbox falls on the concrete in the garage floor, and all the tools make that sound? They all go, and it's like a many-level crash." He says, "No." I said, "Okay, all right. Well, I'll bring it in." But I had had so many times when the car had been doing a thing, and then when I got there, it wasn't doing it. I said, "I'm going to bring it in, but here's what I want you to do. I want you, we'll pick a time. I want you to hide. I want you to hide around the back of the garage, okay? So, and don't come until I call you. Don't come out." He said, "Why?" And I said, "Because I don't want the car to know that you're there." And he said, have you seen a doctor about this at all?" And I said, just humor me. Don't come out." So I'm driving. It's getting louder and louder and louder. I'm really worried. I don't know whether somebody eventually said it could have been the timing chain. I have no idea what that means. So, but it's loud. And now I'm basically driving a B-52 bomber. And I get there And I pull up in front of the garage, and I'm sitting there. I get out of the car, I leave it in, I put it in neutral, and it's still making this horrific sound. Just this awful, loud, crazy sound. And I pulled on the emergency brake, and I got out of the car, and I'm standing there with my hands on my my fists on my wrist, on my waist. I'm standing there looking at it. It's thumping, and it's screeching, and it's grinding, and it's so loud. My mechanic comes running around from the back of the garage, and the minute he rounded the corner, and the line of sight was, there's him and there's the car stopped making the sound. And I turned on the car and I said, "Aha!" I said, "Aha," so loud that people on the street stopped walking. And they all turned to look because I'm pointing, and there's the car and the mechanic, and they don't know. And the mechanic burst out laughing. And I said, there, you see? And I walked around to the front of the car like its headlights could see me. And I said, there, I win. And it cost me a small fortune to have it fixed. And I didn't really, nobody wants to spend a small fortune to fix the car. But I was so validated and I was so vindicated because, just piss off. It's a machine. And people are always, women, and for many years I was a blonde woman, and so people would sort of metaphorically pat my head and say, are you sure you? And so, in this one small instance, I won. And I have to tell you, Charles, you like that story? Insane redhead screaming at a car. All the guys coming out of the garage going, what's going on? Oh, it's Abby. Okay, and they all went back inside. What? And it is empowering when a thing you know to be true is recognized by other people. Your understanding of something, the rightness of it, when other people say, well, yeah, and you turn to these beautiful people who you want to nominate for sainthood and say, right? And they're going, yeah. And right away you feel taller and you feel that you can do almost any next thing. Probably not 7 pounds by Friday, but maybe by next Friday, because all of a sudden there's the really strong glimmer of possibility that wasn't there before. Why? Because you owned it. You owned it. And the thing is, I had to do the work to get there. In my head, in my mind. I know that some rational, mechanic-oriented person is going to make the hideous mistake of metaphorically patting me on the head and explain to me why this is silly and foolish and, oh, you girls, oh, you redheads. The thing is, forget that it's me and that car that I loved, that would periodically be possessed by something just... We all have those moments where we feel overwhelmed, that we feel that we're not heard, that I'm walking here, and how could you run over my foot like that? How could that happen? When I asked you and you ignored me, how did ignoring me make any sense? Especially in my case, because when you ignore me, I get even. And you would think, good morning, Lyle. You would think, after knowing me for a couple of minutes, that the cost of ignoring me what might be outweighed by the long term, I'm never going to let you live it down, right? So this happens to all of us, right? It happens to all of us. Not that particular situation, but something that you feel that by rights, reasonably, you should be on top of. This should work, and it isn't. Why not? Why isn't it working? What am I doing wrong? Is what we all say. We right away assume it's us. Unless, of course, we're completely narcissistic and we just assume that everybody else is somehow flawed. So how we fix this problem, I just have to say hello to some wonderful people. So you're dying about the car story, are you? Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So here's the thing about that car story. It wasn't the only time that cars did that kind of thing. There was another time when pretty much everything I had been trying to do on a project had not worked. And not only had it not worked, it had blown up spectacularly in my face and embarrassed me publicly. Always a swell thing. And I was really at the end of my rope. I was so exhausted by so many things going wrong in sequence. I had literally canceled my lease on my apartment and I moved to live someplace else. Not to a different town, just so that I didn't have to drive down the same street and see the same people who I was really, really ready to throttle for the way they were behaving. And I said to myself, you know what? Get them out of my line of sight, and then I will have the mental and emotional space, freedom, time to catch my breath and focus on something else. And so I did. And when I don't have to move, I try not to, because moving is awful. You let go of everything, and before you let go of it, you have to sort the things that matter enough to keep. And so that means you have to let go of things that you were still fond of, but not fond enough. It's horrifying. It's traumatizing. And then you have to pack the things, and then you have to get to the new place. Then you have to unpack, and then you discover that the things you didn't keep were the things you needed, and all of that. So I knowingly and willingly entered into that traumatic experience in order to get away from all the people that I had been associated with on this just train wreck experience. So I was gradually feeling like I was getting myself back, like gradually feeling. And I was driving home from yet another pick up this, I've forgotten that, the curtains don't fit. And I turned the corner and I drove up the street, and I was saying to myself, at least I have my own new sanctuary where I feel like I matter, that I'm okay, I'm on top of this. And I slowed down and I shifted, out of whatever gear into the lowest gear, and I began to turn the wheel to turn into my driveway. And the car died. The car died 5 feet from my driveway. 1 minute it was a car, and the next it was a lawn ornament. And I flew open the door, threw it open, and I got out of the car, and I looked up at the sky, and I yelled in much the same way as I had yelled at the car at the gas station of the mechanics. I yelled at the sky, "Stop hinting!" And when I get really upset, I wave my arms around, and somebody once said I look a lot like a windmill in a high wind. And I'm standing there, and I can feel it. I can feel that I'm doing that, and I just shook my head, and I closed my eyes, and I gathered myself together, and I opened my eyes, and I turned around to walk away from the car and walk toward the house to go inside, because no pre-cell phones, call for a mechanic. And I turned around, And my new neighbor across the street is standing on his lawn with his rake, and he's in suspended animation. And I said, "Oh, hello. I'm your new neighbor. My name is Abby." And he said, "Hi." And I said, "Yeah, I'm usually not like this. I've just been having a bad day." And he said, "Apparently." And I said, "Okay, well, good chat." And I turned my back on him. I'm mortified. I'm humiliated. I'm mortified. And I turned my back on him, and I stomped up to the house, and I got the door open, and I went in, and I called the mechanic, and whatever. Those moments are the stuff that makes us tired. Not tired because we ran a marathon. Not tired because we had to carry something heavy up or down 6 flights of stairs. Not tired because we had to listen to somebody yammering on at us about something we didn't really care about. Tired from the very core of our being, because no matter what we've tried to do, it wasn't enough. And we have all been there. Charles says, "I'm dreading our move to another place in the near future." Yes, you are, Charles. At the same time, you're not dreading the new beginning. You're dreading the detritus, the cleaning up, the sorting, the organizing, the packing, the being surrounded by the boxes. That's just the mundane, irritating, repetitious, small stuff. The excitement is that you're beginning again. The excitement is this is your choice. This is your move. This is your decision. It's yours to own. And so you're not dreading the move. You're dreading the gearing up to the move and the gearing down from the move. But the move is yours, and it's your opportunity. The thing is, while we're so tired, while we're so exhausted, while we feel like nobody is listening, nobody cares, we're not pretty enough or handsome enough or smart enough, and we're just over there in the corner, and it really feels like we're walking around because our tie is caught in our zipper, and we have no joy. We have no joy. And that is soul destroying. And everywhere I'm looking, I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that in people, because if it hasn't been one thing, it's been another. And while we are equipped to handle a million things, no one is equipped to handle a million non-stop things. Everybody has to breathe. You can't inhale all the time. You have to exhale. You have to let go of the bad air in order to take in the good. You can't continuously, endlessly run screaming downhill, trying to get faster and faster to stay ahead of the momentum so that you don't trip, stumble, fall, roll to the edge of the cliff, and then over the edge. You have to have something. You have to be able to grab onto things on the way by and find small anchors to pull ourselves out of the headlong rush and pull ourselves away from the rapids and pull ourselves back from whatever that is. And the only way we can do that is by saying, my game. My game. My rules. If it's my game, I get to choose. If I fall in line because it's somebody else's game and I sign on, if I sign up for somebody else's contest, I have to abide by their rules in order to win fairly or lose fairly. If it's my game, I get to set the rules. I don't want to cheat. If I'm going to set myself up to win something, I want to win fairly because I want to be able to say, there, aha! I want to own it. And I had this crazy conversation, crazy wonderful conversation with my very, very sweet friend, Jessie, who came to the last few events to work with me as my talent wrangler, my cosplay wrangler, my opportunity wrangler, and photographer. Get it all together, capture the moment. And we were at this event, another wonderful event staged by Lance Morin. And there's always a lull in these events. It's kind of, I notice when I'm in stores, in restaurants, in places where the public gathers randomly, that there appears to be some kind of synchronicity going on. So you'll tell me this, you'll comment. You go into a restaurant or you go into a store, and it sometimes seems as though all of a sudden everybody's coming at the same time. If you work in a restaurant or a store, or you work somewhere where the public is coming, there'll be nobody, and then all of a sudden there'll be everybody. And they're all here at the same time, and they're all coming in at the same time, and they're all waiting in line at the same time. And one time when it happened to me, I think I was working in a restaurant, I said to myself, it's like they all got dropped off by an invisible bus. You know, like the bus pulled up, bus waited at the red light, the light changed green, the bus pulled up, the door opened, it's invisible so nobody can see it, everybody got off, and they all came in. And then here's the other half of that. You'll know this and you'll say, oh my God, yes, if you've worked in retail, if you've worked where the public comes, they also all leave at the same time. Everybody all of a sudden all wants the check at the same time. Everybody is all of a sudden lined up to leave the grocery store. What happened? Well, I figure the invisible bus and the invisible bus driver, he looked at his watch and said, shit, and then hit the horn, and neat, but it's an invisible horn, so I can't hear it, but they can hear it, and they all go, oh, gotta go, neat, check please, and then they all leave, and you think, what was that? It's the invisible bus phenomenon, right? This invisible bus is not one bus. It's a fleet, and they have all arrived. And they're not packed with people saying, check please. They're packed with crisis after crisis after crisis. One bus is full of flaming chainsaws. Another one is full of people who are channeling their inner tantrum-driven child. Another one is full of broken things that all need fixing at the same time. Another bus is full of, you know how when you make a grocery list and you suddenly realize you're out of all the condiments? How is it possible that you run out of all the salt, pepper, ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, and pickles, and paper towels, and laundry soap the same week? How is that? And don't tell me it's because you bought them all in the same week, because they're different sizes and you use them for different reasons, but you run out of all of that stuff at the same time. That grocery bill is astronomical, because you need all this stuff. That's the invisible bus phenomenon. And the invisible bus, I don't know who's driving it. I don't know who's dispatching it. All I know is that it's overwhelming. And every time it happens, I feel powerless to fix it. I feel powerless to make it work on my terms. And as I'm looking around the last little while, we had some polarizing things happening. We had a trend where people were being more than usually greedy, more than usually self-centered, more than usually unkind. And while we were coping with that, suddenly, there was really bad weather. We had a year of incredibly violent storms. And then, while that was still, surrounding us, the recovery, the cleanup, the what do we do now, and I can't find my typewriter, and I needed it for that report tonight, I didn't realize I'd lost it, and all of these minor frustrations that when they become a cumulative effect, they're not minor anymore because it's nonstop. It's the invisible bus effect. And we're not driving the bus, and we don't know who is. And then we had COVID, and then we had people arguing about the validity of COVID, and then we had the anxiety about what to do about it, and nobody knew because the whole thing is new. And then we had, oh, we're all better now, and then it isn't. And then we had people being violent and attacking and robbing and shooting, and then we had more storms, and now there's something else. There's another wave of something, and now there's something, some sort of pox. And then I read meth alligators, and then in Canada there's a worry about feral hogs. You know, you read the headline and you think, what? I know what feral is. Feral is wild. Hogs, you mean pigs. So large pigs, large angry pigs who don't listen to reason. Not Miss Piggy pigs. I see. And where are they? Oh, coming to a town near you. I see. When? So now I guess I can't let my cat go out at night, or the dog. And what do feral hogs eat? Probably anything they want. I mean, and so you can't deal with it. It's overwhelming, and you feel like a loser. You feel helpless, and you feel exhausted, and you want to cry, except that there's actually nothing wrong with you. So then you feel like an even bigger loser, because you should be able to handle this. Except who says? Who says? Who says you're supposed to be able to handle it? Isn't that interesting? Somebody said it. Somebody must have. Because we didn't wake up one day saying, I should be able to handle this. Somebody said that. Somebody heard it and repeated it. Oh, interesting. So this leads me to the point. finally, after, almost half an hour. The point is, as long as we play by everyone else's rules, as long as we spend all our time trying to fit in and be just like everyone else, as long as we stand there waiting politely for somebody to be courteous and say, you first, our likelihood of winning is very small. We don't have to become rude, and we don't have to become pushy, and we don't have to become selfish. What we have to do is create our own goal. Choose the one thing that means the most and make that happen on our terms. So the example I'm using for this, aside from me tricking the car into thinking the mechanic wasn't there, and aside from me trying to be polite to the new neighbor when the car simply died for no particular reason, and the exhaustion that we all feel, as Charles said, as we all have. Once we move and get settled, new light, yes, pivot move, can't wait. Of course you can't wait. Thing is, we get to choose when we say, okay, starting now, from this moment. I'm going to own it from this moment. And every next thing I do is my choice. If I get it wrong, okay, I chose it. I'm in charge. These are my moments. Everything else, it's somebody else's moment. I don't have to win those. I have to win mine. I don't have to be good at everything. I'm already good at this. I am better at being Abby Hagyard than anybody else, because there is nobody else who knows how to be me. I've been working on it a long time. And good, bad, clumsy, elegant, fascinating hair day or not, I'm always the best Abby Haggard there is. I own that. And I'm proud of that. And when somebody does some lame, fool, rude thing to me, I channel my Abby. And I respond as Abby would and should and can. That's how I own my moment. So the illustration that I have with Jessie, we were at Lance's event, the Fanatic Con in Brockville. And it was in one of those ebb moments where everybody was there and suddenly, where did everybody go? And I'll tell you where everybody went. It was lunchtime. And the doors had opened at 10 if you were a VIP, and at 11, and it's now 12:30. And everybody's had a good first pass. Now they want to go to the bathroom, and they're going to get a sandwich, and they're going to come back for round 2. It's lunchtime. The waves hit the beach and recede. Come and go. So the ebb is typically, logically, middle of the day-ish, 1-ish. And all of a sudden, there was a rush of noise and sound and excitement. And all of a sudden, we were surrounded by people. We were surrounded by 3 times more people than we were before the ebb. And I thought, holy cow. There was 1 bus before, now there must be 6. What's going on? And it was the Cosplay Contest. Cosplayers are costumed people portraying their favorite characters. And at these events, there is usually a contest. And the cosplayers get to strut their stuff and take their poses and say the thing that their idol, their hero, their alter ego says and does. And everybody gets to see them and applaud. It's a wonderful moment. Everybody has their moment in the sun. And then there are prizes. Opportunity to shine. And here they all were. And in that sudden influx, it wasn't just a lot of people. That was only the tip of the iceberg. And it wasn't that they were all dressed like things and characters and sides of mountains and whatever. It wasn't that they were cosplaying. It wasn't that they were role-playing. It wasn't that they were dressed up. It wasn't that they hoped they would win. All those were all elements. What was going on was the collective, cumulative excitement because of the possibility. For those people in that moment, the excitement was off the charts. Some of them still couldn't talk to anybody because they had social issues. Be there, wanted to be part of the headlong rush for the beach. And in that moment, I said, I know how to win this. I know how to make this moment mine. So I said to Jessie, honey, I want you to go around the crowd. Go to the other side of the crowd. You can see me because I'm standing underneath the Abbey wall. So you know where I am. You can find me. Even if you can't immediately see me, you can find her. Go all the way to the other side. And through the viewfinder in the camera, look for me. And when I can see the camera lens pointed at me, I will know that you can see me. And I don't want you to try and part the crowd. I want you to just wait for the moment when it's really exciting, when there's stuff going on and people are laughing excitedly and it's got its own internal momentum. And I'm going to keep my eyes on you. And I'm going to smile at you. I'm going to allow this momentum of excitement and possibility and wonder and fun and magic. I'm going to allow it to lift me up and infuse me with that same Abby-driven energy. And I'm going to smile at you with that. And when you see it, take the picture. So I posted it. And now you know why. I wasn't participating in the cosplay contest. I wasn't hoping to win a prize. I'm participating in the Abby contest every day. Every day, I'm waiting and I'm watching and I'm getting ready like a surfer does to get moving ahead just before the wave crests so that I'm ready and the crest can carry me to the place I want to be, which is about 5 feet ahead of the shark on the beach. So I know how to do this for one reason. I practice. I've practiced every day. I have found a way, by accident at first, to see that I have this ability. And as a kid, in my teens mostly, I found a way to use that ability, that recognition factor, to climb into the momentum of every place I went to. I found a way to read people and profile them based on their patterns. You know, it's likely that if a person is running, they're going to be tired in a minute. Okay, there's a pattern. And then if they stop and rest, they'll get their energy back, and so they'll probably speed up again. That's pattern recognition. I've learned that over time, that there is a way for me to rediscover my energy, to reclaim my inner child. I can just experience excitement and ride it and own it and add my own little touches. Add the feather boa, add the crazy earrings, add the sudden unexpected conversation that makes people blink and laugh really hard. And I've done that because the alternative is boring. The alternative is trying to fit in with a bunch of other people whose agendas aren't mine. The alternative is being a spectator. If you're not engaged, if you have no vested interest in the outcome, you have no thrill of victory or agony of defeat. You have nothing that was worth staying up until 3 o'clock in the morning for. You have nothing except 3 hours you'll never get back. Find yourself eating most of that bag, and suddenly you realize that it's 10 minutes to 5 o'clock and now you've ruined your dinner. Whose fault is that? That'd be yours. What an idiot. You threw away the anticipation and the excitement for eating your favorite dinner on a bunch of crap. Why? Because you weren't thinking and you weren't choosing to prioritize joy. So the challenge we have right now is that it takes a lot of energy to make these decisions. I was on the phone with a really dear friend of mine this morning, and she said, I'm so tired, I just want to sleep. I'm tired, right down to my bones, I'm tired. I just want to sleep, and I can't sleep because I'm not really tired. I'm exhausted in my soul. And I said, yeah, I know. I can see it, and I can feel it around me. And the thing is, we can't opt out. We can't say, okay, all you losers, I'm going to go over here and jump up and down and dance and sing while the rest of you are sitting there feeling terrible. That doesn't make you a good person. It makes you a selfish person. So how do we remain part of the tribe and practice self-care? Here's what I think. And it's only my opinion, I'm not an expert. We are the tribe. Every single one of us is the tribe. If we are tired, the tribe will be tired. If we are happy, the tribe will be happy. Because we are all the tribe. So, do we know someone? Do we have something that allows us, that opens the door, that reinforces a happy inner child smile? Is it a pillow? Is it a pair of socks? Is it a goofy cartoon? Is it the smell of apple pie? But you can't actually eat the apple pie because you put yourself on this diet and it's so annoying. There's something. There's something that makes us say, oh yeah. There's someone, whether they're good for you or not good for you, there's someone that makes you say, oh my God, but they make you smile. They trigger the sparkle. Okay. Then reach for that. Reach for that for 1 minute, for 10 seconds. Stop everything else for 10 seconds. Take a breath. Let it out. Think of that one thing. No matter how tired you are, take a breath, let it out. Think of that one thing. 10 seconds. And then give yourself permission to say, I am so lucky that I have that thing. Thank you. And you know what happens? The exhaustion gets a little smaller. A little bit. Set the alarm. Do it again in a couple of hours. Make your favorite sandwich. Well, I've already planned lunch. So, it's your lunch. Make your favorite sandwich. Eat something silly. Have the ice cream you were going to have for dessert later. Have it now. Put on that really cute outfit, that great shirt that you look hot in. Nobody will see it. Yeah, you will. I got all dressed up and nowhere to go. You don't need to go anywhere. Go and stand in front of the mirror. That's where you need to go. And you say, you know what? I really do look hot in this. Yeah, you do. Take the deep breath. Let it out. And say, pretty lucky. I got a thing I look hot in. You'll feel a little bit better. And we can bring ourselves back. One small, exhausted step at a time. Everything is a process. What we didn't see, what we didn't realize, was the number of times when we should have stopped and we should have said, I'm sorry, no, that's not good enough. And we've said, you know what, it's not that bad. We should never say that to ourselves. You know what? It's not that bad. Because what we're saying is, it sucks actually, but oh well. I can put up with it. Of course you can. Why would you? Of course you can. Someone is rude to me. Someone is rude to me, I'm surprised. Someone dismisses me, I'm shocked. Someone says they'll help, and then they don't. I know what happened. I know that in the moment when they said they would help, they meant it. Yeah. And then I know that when they stopped helping, something else became more important to them. And you know what I didn't do? I didn't say, hey, we're not finished. I didn't take them by the hand and say, over here, we're not finished. You said you'd help, we're not done. Yep, we're not done. I didn't police my boundaries. And every time I didn't police my boundaries, I got a little more tired. Because no one was saying, you're amazing, you're awesome. They weren't saying it, and I wasn't saying it, so no one was saying it. And my little inner child was saying, I hope somebody thinks I'm amazing. So it starts with us. It's our moment. We own it. And we get to say, awesome or what? We need to have energy to do that? Okay. Then we need to give ourselves permission to get our energy back. How? By drawing a line in the sand. Heart-shaped line. Those of us who feel a pride in following through on our promises will often sacrifice our own health, our own peace of mind, in order to fulfill the promise, beyond all reasonable sacrifice. Do you know why we do it? This is what I think. I think we do this not because we're Mother Teresa. And it's not because it's what motivates us. I think we do it because we're hoping it will be contagious. And that other people who see us caring will say, oh yeah, I should care more. Can I help? And the thing is, that's not how it works. In a weird, crazy way, when we over-deliver and we hope that momentum will be contagious, what we're really trying to do is control the way other people feel and the way other people live their lives and the way other people connect and engage. We're hoping that we infect them with our joy and our commitment and our focus. And that's not how it works. The only people we can motivate, the only people we can energize and engage, ourselves. If other people make the same decision, then there's more of us. They do it because they want it. We do it because we want it. Eventually, people like us do it because we want it. And we become a tribe. So, it's a weird kind of video today. And it's a little more all over the map than many of them. And the reason is because we are all over the map these days. And every example I'm pulling to say, you see this, and you see this, and you see that, I'm pulling from all the things I'm observing. The first thing we need to do, 3 steps. The first thing we need to do is forgive ourselves, is to throw away these crazy expectations and judgments that we've either overheard and copied and just learned by rote, and it's become our inner loop tape. We need to hit the pause. And we need to take the battery out so the thing doesn't play. Because we can't focus on us and this if we're listening to that. That drains us. That's the first thing we need to do. We have to give ourselves permission to say, I'm amazing. Some days I could be better, but I'm here. That's amazing. I'm here. I made it to another day. That's amazing. That's the first thing we have to do. The second thing we have to do is think of that thing that makes us smile. Think of that thing, that person, that moment, that smell. Whatever it is, think of it. And say, I gotta think of you more often. And the third thing we have to do is say, we got this. We got this. I may need to rest. I may need to recharge. I may need to rethink that 7 pounds by Friday diet. That's okay. Those are just steps. The bottom line is, we got this. That's all we have to do. And the reason we have to do it, we're worth it. And the people who love us, and the people who count on us, and the people who are missing us, deserve it too. We all do. It's interesting, isn't it? I really think we're going to get through this. I really think that this crazy idea that being a spectator, pushing a button and letting something automatic take care of a function that we used to do, some of that is great. Other times, you know what? There's something quite satisfying about putting on a pair of yellow rubber gloves and doing the dishes. There really is. Stand and look out the window while you're washing the dishes, drying them, and putting them away. You don't want to do it all the time. That's what the dishwasher's for. But what were you doing instead of the dishwasher? What were you doing while the dishwasher was washing the dishes? What were you doing? Were you sitting down and picking up a remote and mindlessly just watching stuff? You stopped doing in order to be a spectator? How did that change and fulfill you and motivate you and make you want to spike the ball? I watched another half hour if I have no idea what that show was. We need to start demanding less beige and more vibrant color. Because we deserve it. Because we're worth it. So what I did with Jessie and how I used that crowd to my advantage was to position myself and position her at the best vantage points to have that excitement, that energy, that momentum, that collective magic wash over us. We climbed into that magic. And I said, I'm looking for you, look for me. When our eyes meet, take the picture. And she did. And it's a great picture. Is it going to win an award? No. No, here's what it's going to do. It's going to remind me every time I look at it of how I felt in that moment. Because how I felt in that moment, I was a winner. 100%. First prize. Can I call that back anytime? You bet. And we can all do similar. Those are the steps. Why haven't you done it before? You haven't realized there were steps. Knowledge isn't power. Knowledge is fuel. It's a lot cheaper than the other kind of fuel right now. If you have the knowledge, you have the fuel. You can go anywhere. All you have to do is get in the car. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Okay. Oh my goodness, look at the time. So today, I'm very excited as well about the Pivotary Project for a couple of reasons. And one is that it has triggered a hysterically funny idea. My very good friend Lawrence Evanchik sent me a photograph the other day of a place where the last place I did dinner theater, where I produced dinner theater. And he said, I thought this might bring back a few memories. So what they brought back instantly, immediately, what's this avalanche of hysterically funny, crazy train wreck moments? And I said, oh my God. And I said, it's a sitcom. It's a sitcom. And he said, yeah, it's pretty much going to write itself. And I said, oh my God, I can write 7 seasons right now. And he said, what you need is the name. What you need is the name that's going to capture the anticipation of magic and the sudden recognition of not so much. And I went away and I laughed because he's absolutely right. And then suddenly the name hit me. And I reached out to him and I said, Lawrence, are you familiar with this book? And he said, yes. When are you going to stop talking about it? And I said, well, never. Because, by the way, have I mentioned that it's available on Amazon? I said, I know the name of the sitcom. It's not going to be Fame. It's going to be Fame-ish. Fame-ish. And all we have to do is think of all of those eager, naive little hearts and minds stampeding its way to Broadway and the Hollywood sign, unaware there's a cliff and a bog and quicksand and carpenter ants and soldier ants and alligators and cactus plants that fling their needles. Pivotary is our unique ability to shift and claim our moment. There is no other creature that has the ability that we have. All we need to know is how we do it. We don't have to do better. We don't have to be better. We don't have to do more. We don't have to fit in. We just have to know how it works. Because we already are all those things we ever need to be. We don't need to feel not good enough. We don't need to feel unheard. We don't need to feel unworthy. Those things aren't true. All we need to do is give ourselves permission to rest and come back when we're ready. And I'll have all of the steps and processes and procedures written down for you. You can refresh anytime. Isn't that cool? And every lame, crazy, stupid, fool, error, you know what that is? That's material. Even while it's happening to you, you can say, okay, I look like an idiot right now, but this is material. Abby's going to die. Crazy, huh? Okay, so this was episode 53 on Tuesday, the 31st of May. So on Thursday, when we're together again, it'll be episode 54. And it will be June. We're almost halfway there. Almost. What are we almost halfway there to? Oh, 100 episodes. So, until I see you on Thursday, think about what I've said. Write down one thing that always makes you smile. Close your eyes, think of it, write it down. Just one thing. I asked you last week to see if you can name the personality you bring out to be the best you can be in a situation. The personality you've already developed. What I want you to do today is write down the trigger that brings out that best. What is the one thing, more than anything, that makes you grin? That makes you say, I'm walking here. Yeah, I got it going on. Even if it's only for a second. I hope you'll do that for me, and I hope you'll do it for you. And I hope you'll do it for all of us, because we're all in this together. So, you know the drill now, right? Okay. Garen. Gorn. Since it's a good idea about connecting with yourself, where's the light bulb? Why? What makes me grin? People like that who do things like this. Thank you, honey. Okay. Oh dear. All right. Be good to you. You deserve it. Hug your loved ones. Tell people about this phenomenon. Tell people you're working on a project with me. And it's amazing. And they can get in on it if they want. All I got to do is set aside some time to find out what it's all about. All right? Okay. Bye-bye for now.